Hey guys, welcome back once again to a new Let's Play. This time we're going to go ahead and do Parasite Eve 2, since that's what I promised you I'd be doing as soon as we were done with Alundra. So let's take a look at the options. Man, we got this, just a whole lot of options to choose from here. We're going to turn the vibration on, not that it matters. I don't have a controller that has force feedback. Now, this game is a lot different than Parasite Eve 1, and holy crap, that's loud in my ears, but I know it's not going to be real loud when you guys watch it. This right here is going to be a quick little recap of the first game. It's going to gloss over some of the details, but if you haven't seen the first game, then you know, this will give you just, you know, some of the information you need to kind of not be lost in this game. Whereas Parasite Eve 1 was more of a cinematic horror experience slash RPG. Like, you know, they relied on things like a sense of desperation, you know, the fact that you're always one step behind, the fact that you're by yourself. You're the only one that can stand up to what's going on in New York. They used that kind of to build the tension. It wasn't like a super action-oriented game. It was turn-based, used an ATV, and pretty much all you had to do was the only action part of the game was avoiding your enemies' attacks. Which, if you've seen my playthrough of that game, you'll notice that I wasn't very good at that. This game is a lot different. Whereas the first one you could arguably say it was a mix of RPG and survival horror with more RPG, this one's the opposite. It's a survival horror game with some RPG thrown in. Luckily, Aya's still the same old character. She's a no-nonsense, tough, you know, young woman who is very blonde, very good with guns, and she doesn't like neo-mitochondrial creatures. And oh, by the way, in case you didn't catch that, all of those targets were actually enemies from the first game. Now, Pierce, the gentleman with the ponytail and sunglasses and vest in the background there, he's asking me if I want to do some target practice. You can do the target practice and get prizes. One level, you know, you can get things like ammo, attachments for your armor, which I'll go more into attachments in just a minute. This first episode's mainly going to be me getting all of the menu stuff out of the way. So if you don't want to watch that, you can just go ahead and skip. And if you already know this information, you can pretty much just stop now, and in the next episode, we'll go on and start with the story. Attachments you can win. I know, and for the higher levels you can win. For the lower levels, like the first couple, really the prizes are things like healing items. You can get a ringer solution, which is kind of like the elixir of this game. You can get a lipstick, hunter's goggles, and those two are attachments. And what they do is you put them on your armor, and they have a special effect. The lipstick prevents you from being silenced, and the hunter's goggles prevent you from being blinded. If you get high enough points on the highest, the last level, you get a shoulder holster, which is an armor, and it's got the it's actually what A is wearing right now in the range. So, just so you can look at it. Now, the way inventory works in this game is you cannot access things that are in your inventory, your regular inventory. You can't touch them. You can only access the weapon that you have equipped, the ammo that is in that weapon, and items that are attached to your armor. So, like if I had a healing item, I could take that, put it here, and that healing item would be able to be used in battle. Okay, armor is interesting in this game because it's pretty much your main way of raising your stats. You may notice there, look next to my portrait there of Aya. You'll see that I have HP and MP. You also have experience in BP. BP is pretty easy. It's just it's the currency of the game. That's your money. You buy guns and ammo and armor with it. That's pretty much all it's used for. The experience does not do what you might think it does. It doesn't give. It doesn't. You do not gain levels in this game. There's 2 ways to raise your HP and MP. The primary way is the armor you're wearing. As you can see there, add HP nothing, add MP 20. Attachments 4, special features quickfire. Now what that means is when I'm wearing the shoulder holster, I will have no extra HP, but I will get an additional 20 MP, and I'll have 4 attachment slots in battle. Obviously, the more attachments, the more items you can take into battle. The maximum number of attachments you can have is 10. And there are special items that allow you to raise the number of attachments on a piece of equipment. Although I think the limit you can use on one piece of armor is 3 of those, maybe 4, up to a maximum of 10 attachments. The special features are special features that the armor has. The quickfire feature, what it does is it changes the speed at which Aya switches targets. You'll notice that as I go along that Aya will actually, when you switch targets, this game uses a targeting system. You hit square and then it puts a targeting reticle on an enemy, and she targets it and she faces it. Now when you hit square, she moves faster, like she'll turn towards facing the enemy, and with the quickfire feature, she turns a little faster. And that's pretty much what that does. The rest of the options in the menu are pretty easy to understand. Key items is your plot items, map, options, exit. If you want to know more about an item, hit triangle over it. All weapons have a primary fire, and lots of weapons have a secondary fire. The M933R, which you start off with, has a single shot as its secondary and a triple shot as its primary. Now that 3-round burst is actually pretty good, although in this game weapons that fire more than one bullet at once tend to get a damage reduction in the damage of each bullet. Especially when you're talking about weapons with full auto. I think I read somewhere that weapons with full auto actually have they actually only do 66% damage of the bullet on each shot. Now, let's talk about the rest of the stuff. Now, if you may recall that I said experience doesn't work the way it does in normal RPGs. You also may notice that my stats change just because she's not wearing the same armor that she was wearing in the shooting range. The leather jacket has plus 10 HP, plus nothing on your MP, so I now have 30 MP and 110 HP. So, anyway. Experience is used to revive your Parasite energies. As you can see here, there are 4 categories and 2 abilities in each category. There's actually 3 abilities, but the 3rd ability doesn't show up until you get the first 2 up to 3. Fire and wind are more offensive, where water and earth are more defensive. That's pretty much it. Pyrokinesis is the main single target attack spell in the entire game. Combustion is kind of it hits everything in a small area in front of you. Necrosis is a much weaker pyrokinesis that also has the added effect of poisoning an enemy. It works on a lot of enemies and is very good for enemies, especially ones that stay out of your line of sight a lot. Plasma is from the point of view, the area effect, it's a little circular thing. It knocks everything down around you. It's really good if you're surrounded. Metabolism restores your status and prevents you from being re-inflicted with another status effect, while it has a little buff portion, and it's really good. It's something you really want to have at least by the end of the 2nd or 3rd area of the game maxed out. Healing is also fairly useful. Antibody and energy shot are the buff spells of the game. Antibody prevents damage. Energy shot buffs the damage your bullets do. So all the spells are useful in their own ways. And if you recall, I said that each... Damn it, that's not what I want to do. Each... your HP and MP, there's two ways to raise them. I said the primary way is to equip armor, and the secondary way for your HP is to use an item called a protein capsule. It'll raise your max HP by 5. You find them scattered throughout the game. And the other way to raise your MP, well, there's two ways actually. You can use a lipstick. If you use the lipstick as an item, it will give you plus 1 MP permanently. There is like a total of 3 lipsticks in the game, so I don't really use that as a massive way to raise your MP. The other way is to revive or strengthen your parasite energies. You can see there at the bottom where it says experience cost. Below that it'll say bonus MP. So if I revive combustion, I will get 1 MP added to my maximum, meaning my maximum will be 31 instead of 30. Very useful. So that's pretty much everything, I think. I mean, you can, like most games like this, Resident Evil stuff, you can interact with the, areas and things like that. The street sweeper. She's just telling you about weapons. Now, there are different kinds of weapons in this game, and they don't work they work more like regular weapons would versus like they did in Parasite 1, where like you could take a shotgun and use a super tool or a tool to move the burst capability off and put it on your pistol, and you got so then you have an area effect shot pistol. You can't do that in this game. Your weapons are set. They never change. That M93R will never get any more powerful, any weaker. It will always stay the same strength. Now, there are some caveats to that. There is weapons in this game that you can put attachments on, and it'll change its secondary fire of the weapon. That's specifically the rifle. It's pretty much the most versatile and best regular use weapon you can get in the game. The main way you change the attack power of your weapon is to change the ammo. For example, for pistols, there's 3 kinds of ammo. There is Parabellum, Hydra, and Spartan. Now, Parabellum is everywhere. You get it, it's free, you really shouldn't need to buy it, unless you're just in a bad spot. Hydra is found in a couple of special places. Spartan is never found. Each bullet is a little more powerful than the preceding bullet. The Tonfa is mostly useless. Although, I have seen somebody... You can actually kill everything in the game with the Tonfa baton, including the final boss. And there are people that are that good at this game. I am not. The GPS right here is actually a good example of a attachment. It doesn't do anything unless it's attached to armor. Like in-battle items and stuff like that. You'll find combat lights that will temporarily blind enemies. They're one-time use. But things like the GPS is a passive thing. And you should always have it attached to your armor unless your armor has built-in GPS, because it gives you a little... it gives you a HUD at the top that shows you kind of like a mini-map. If you've ever played Alien vs. Predator, it's kind of like that. Well, anyway, that pretty much covers everything I can think of to talk about. Controls are simple. Standard tank controls. Left and right rotates you. Forward makes you go whatever direction you're facing. Back makes you walk backwards whatever direction you're facing. L and R, L1 and L2 don't really do anything. Square raises your weapon and switches targets. R1 is primary fire, R2 is secondary fire, triangle is your parasite energy menu. O is supposed to make it where you do the opposite of run or walk, but for some reason it doesn't work. X is confirm, and just how you interact with things. Well, I can't really think of anything else that I want to go over with. So next time we're going to go ahead and get started. I'll see you then.